The office holiday party was buzzing with life, voices overlapping, glasses clinking, and music pulsing through the room like a heartbeat. I had spent hours getting ready, convincing myself it would be a simple evening, a chance to reconnect, maybe share a smile or a small laugh with the woman I had loved for so many years. But the moment I walked in, that hope dissolved. She stood at the center of the crowd, glowing under the soft lights, talking easily, laughing openly, leaning in just a bit too close to a co-worker, the same man whose name kept popping up on her phone more times than I cared to admit. The sight hit me hard, like a blow straight to chest. She didn't look at me, not even once. It was as if I didn't exist. And right then, the realization struck with brutal clarity. She was openly choosing him over me, in front of everyone. I walked toward her slowly, holding myself together on the outside, while anger and hurt churned inside. "Hey!" I murmured quietly, hoping to draw her attention without making a scene. But she didn't turn toward me. Instead, she leaned closer to him, laughing again, her hand brushing his arm like it was the most natural thing in the world. Then came the sentence, the one that cut deeper than anything I'd ever heard. If I had a choice, I'd pick someone else. Laughter exploded around her, but it all faded into a dull blur for me. All I felt was the cold weight of the truth. The woman I had trusted and loved was mocking me publicly, and she didn't care at all. I stood there, letting the words sink in. My heart pounded, my jaw clenched, but I didn't yell. I didn't touch her. I didn't draw even more attention. My silence was intentional, powerful, controlled. The silence of someone refusing to be played by cheap jokes or shallow laughter. Around us, co-workers exchanged glances, unsure what they had just witnessed. They thought they'd heard an innocent joke. I slowly fixed my gaze on her, a look filled with years of love, disappointment, and quiet anger. A look strong enough to stop a person mid-laugh, mid-word, mid-breath. The atmosphere shifted. The laughter faltered as people sensed a change. She finally noticed me, and for the first time that night, the confidence on her face flickered into uncertainty. She had expected the usual reactions, either a laugh or a flare of anger, but she was met with neither. What she faced was calm, deliberate, unshakable control. I wasn't there to argue. I wasn't there to raise my voice. I was there for her to face the consequences of her own choices. Her words, her disregard, her carelessness toward everything we had built. She tried to recover her footing, flipping her hair, forcing out a laugh like nothing had happened. But the moment had slipped away. The co-workers who had found her entertaining seconds before now shifted awkwardly, unsure where to look. The room felt heavy with tension. I stepped closer, slow and steady, radiating a quiet strength she wasn't used to seeing from me. Her fingers tightened around her drink, a slight tremor giving her away. The playful control she once held over me in public had shattered. She had crossed a line, and I was the boundary she could no longer push past. "My dear," I said softly, just loud enough for the nearby group to hear. "So this is what our life means to you? Our love is just a joke now." Each word was gentle, yet carried the weight of months of hurt and betrayal. Her face lost its color. The bright, confident woman who had held everyone's attention moments before now looked small, cornered, exposed. She tried to speak, maybe to laugh it off again, but the room had gone silent. Every eye was on her. The reality of her own actions pressed in on her harder than any angry confrontation ever could. The co-worker beside her, who had been soaking up the attention, took a small step back, confused and uncomfortable. She clutched her glass tightly, knuckles pale, finally realizing that the power she believed she had evaporated in an instant. Her eyes darted toward me, searching for some hint of reassurance, a signal that everything was fine, a small smile to reset the moment. I gave her nothing. My calmness was deliberate, precise. It showed her exactly what had slipped from her hands: respect, trust, and the devotion of someone who had once given her everything. I was just joking," she whispered faintly. But the words meant nothing. The silence between us said far more than her weak defense ever could. I slowly shook my head, holding her gaze, letting the truth settle in fully. This wasn't a joke. This was her choice, her exposure, her turning point. The room stayed frozen as she finally understood something irreversible. Some lines once crossed cannot be undone. Her laughter had curdled into shame. Her bold confidence collapsed into a trembling vulnerability she couldn't hide or reclaim. There was nothing left for me to say. The party light still glowed warmly, but the air had changed completely. She sank into a nearby chair, head in her hands, shadows stretching across her face. Co-workers avoided her eyes, unsure whether to comfort her or pretend they'd seen nothing. I turned and walked away, not for drama, not for attention, but with the quiet dignity of someone who finally chose himself. She had gone too far, and nothing she said could undo it. By the time I disappeared from her sight, she was alone, shaking, finally grasping what she had thrown away. The fleeting laughs and temporary admiration she'd chased tonight could never equal the respect, loyalty, and presence of someone who once loved her completely. For the first time, she understood the cost of crossing boundaries she never should have touched. That night, the lights still shone on her, but they revealed a truth she could no longer hide from. Some lines, once crossed, leave marks that never fade.